What's up, Howie? What you doing, old man? You better move, you're gonna get scooped up. Oh, Howie. Alright, on with the project. This morning we've got a project, in a rare instance, that requires the tractor. We're gonna see if the tractor's gonna help. We don't know. The tractor, it's a little four-wheel drive Ford. You know, it's good for some things, but it tears up the grass like crazy on other things. So we'll see. Let's see how this project goes. Hey, you excited about today's project?
Yes.
Yeah? It's good to have an extra helper out here. Someone to sit on that tractor and hold stuff. So what do you think is going to happen?
So you're going to move the tack shed over there. So
Cabin.
Cabin. And Chloe and me will sleep in there for the summer.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it.
Nice. Well, hopefully this project works.
So the guys are attaching some things to the cabin, like on the corners here, so that they can put their straps on and they don't injure any of the wood on the cabin, since that's probably pretty old and needs to be replaced. But they have the tractor right there. They're gonna hook it up to the cabin and hopefully roll it on some logs. We've got an audience here. Hey, what do you guys think? Is this gonna be exciting or what?
It's going to be okay.
What do you think, Em?
Good.
Good? What are they gonna do?
Move the cabin.
Move the cabin.
The initial pull and the straps stretching, they were stretching like rubber bands. That wasn't working. So Joe's turning the tractor around now, and he's gonna try and get the bucket under each individual skid and just lightly lift and see if it can be broken loose out of mud or ice, or I don't know, we'll see. We'll find out. This tractor is so light that my 150-pound frame with a little leverage on the back, it shouldn't make that much difference, but it does because the tractor is so tiny. But we might have broken this right side loose. All right, we're not proud of the fact, but we gave up on the straps around the cabin, and we are going to another chain, a secondary chain, that we are going to lag bolt into the skids. So we can pull directly on the skids, not the cabin.
What we didn't foresee happening was the lack of the floor joists of the cabin being properly attached to the skids. And so pulling the cabin, the skids have been in the ground for years, years, and have become kind of part of the ground. So we pulled the cabin on the skids, and all the floor joists tipped like that. We'll have to fix that at a later date. So now we got the cabin back to where it was supposed to be on the skids. We're gonna lag this chain into the skids, which I should have done from the start, but I haven't moved too many buildings in my life, so you know, I guess you learn as you go. So we're gonna lag this chain to each side of the skid, give myself a little, hook there, and then we'll chain into that to the tractor and see what happens.
Well, we're not exactly proud of how that transpired, but we're kind of thinking we're at plan B, but at this stage we're kind of at plan Z, because this is the last ditch effort to get this sucker to move, and good or bad, we are about to find out what's going to happen. I'm a little nervous.
The guys spent a good portion of the other day moving that guide cabin in the backyard, and it didn't really go the way they had hoped. The skids underneath were half rotten, so half of them came with the cabin and half of them stayed solidly. That was awesome. Half of them stayed solidly in the ground, so moving the cabin across the yard proved to be kind of difficult, and some of the plywood on the back of the cabin kind of got roughed up from just being down in the ground. So today they have kind of figured out a way to jack up the cabin a little bit so that they can get underneath it and kind of repair some of the rotting boards that kind of got splintered or damaged while they were moving it. So they're not super proud of what's going on, but I figured it's worth documenting because that cabin is really, really old. So the fact that it's still as sound as it is pretty amazing. And the fact that we can still use it for, hopefully for our girls to stay in next summer, is pretty incredible. So they're doing some work outside in the wind, and I'm just going to go peek and see how it's going so we get some progress shots on the little cabin.
I'll come down here and look at this. Here is a rim joist. That's what's left of it anyway. So moving the cabin, we knew that part of the bottom was just crumbling apart and leaving a trail of rotten wood throughout the grass as we were moving it. So now this is like part 2 of the cabin move, is some demo and remodel.
So you can see the cabin behind me, and then we've got the wood shed, and then here's the door to our bedroom right here. So it's going to be pretty close to the back door so that the kids don't have to walk across the whole yard in the middle of the wilderness when there's bears and they don't have a dog with them. So it makes me feel a lot better about that, and I think they're excited. So the outside of the cabin is a little bit rough looking. You can see some of the outside of the cedar is kind of like mildewy and needs to be refinished. There needs to be new trim, new windows, new doors put on the little thing. But actually the inside looks really nice. A couple years back, Joe redid the whole inside, and I'll show you that real quick. So he did all this nice tongue and groove. There's a little propane lantern, a heater, some carpet.
All right, so update on the cabin that Zach and I are working on here. We have replaced the far rim joist. It was completely rotten. We have to replace this rear rim joist right behind me. It was completely tore out.
Like that's what one of the old rim joists used to look like. You see that?
We replaced those. Some of the floor joists got ripped out while we were moving it. I think we mentioned that, and a lot of them were just rotten anyways. So Zach and I got the cabin jacked up after we replaced a couple sections of rim joists, and we felt safe about it, so we got under there. We replaced all the floor joists. We did 2x4s. We felt that that was plenty for what this cabin's going to be used for. And now the last step is putting this last rim joist on. We left it out so we could access getting under there easier. And yeah, I think it's going pretty good, don't you, Zach?
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect, but I feel like we're kind of on the home stretch.
Both Zach and I hate remodel jobs. I love new construction. Turn me loose on anything new construction, and it doesn't scare me at all. But remodel, I hate it. We're on the home stretch. We're going to get this rim joist on, and then we're going to level up the cabin. And I think it's, well, we do have to re-plywood this. We ripped this old plywood off so that we could get to the rim joists. So after we get this rim joist on, we'll replace the plywood that we ripped off. That'll firm up the rim joist a little bit. As you can see, I ripped it higher into the wall, so as we put the rim joist on, that solid piece of plywood will bridge that gap and firm that up as well. And then we'll get some siding put back on there, and it'll be ready to move into.
You can see back there by Joe, there's a ton of scrap wood. Over the years, the previous owners, several owners, one of which is Jack Lee, the original guy that settled this property, just kept shoving material in secret places under the shower house and the cabin. And Joe and I can benefit from that from time to time. We just go through it and pull out we just found some plywood that we could use, and we are ripping it down into strips that we are going to refinish what Joe was talking about there with the floor joists. All right, we got the back sitting on cinder blocks, and we put on that big section of plywood there, so that blocks up the insulation, closing in the insulation there. We'll be able to run siding down it again. We got some that we were able to salvage and some that needs to be replaced. And then next spring, I will pressure wash this and restain it and get it looking all sharp. All right, guys, we're gonna end this vlog here pretty soon. Joe and I are just spending the day cleaning up the shop. This place is an absolute disaster, and it becomes a catch-all after the summer season. It's time to burn old rotten wood, stack good lumber, clean up the bench. Look at the bench, it's an absolute disaster. For now, guys, we're gonna cap off this vlog. Thanks so much for watching, and with any cabin updates, that is going to become the girls' bedroom. We used to call it the trapper cabin, and then the guide cabin, and now it's my girls' bedroom. So with any updates, we'll keep you informed.
Thanks for watching. Comment below, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
See ya.
Bramante Brothers.